Hello, and welcome to the Abundant Mind. My name's Jarod. I'm just a human living on Earth that loves to grow and expand. I consider myself a student of life. Let's get into this podcast. I've been thinking about this podcast all month, and I've had some reluctance for this episode. It's going to be on men's mental health because June is apparently a men's mental health awareness month or something, but personally not crazy about every different month and it's the segmentation of everyone on earth. I don't know. I don't think it's really good to segment things. It's like it shouldn't just be one month, it should just be an ongoing conversation, but that's a whole other topic to discuss. I'm not sure how well you know me, whether it's in real life or you've been following me on TikTok for years or it's the first time you're seeing me. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I have been posting content on TikTok for a couple years, and a lot of it's been on mental health and just overall well-being as an individual. So I have talked a lot about emotions and feelings and thoughts, and actually I've made a little bit of content on men's mental health, and I've always been an advocate for men, and even for myself, just the reason I'm telling you this, I had a lot of reluctance to recording this podcast. And it made me think, why did I have so much reluctance to it? And it made me realize, there's a lot of stigma with men's mental health. There's a lot of stigma with men's mental health. Honestly, I barely see anyone talking about it on the internet. And we're over halfway through June. I don't think I've seen a single person I know in real life post about it. And if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't really know what else will. Um, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but I think it's 75% or it's three times as many men commit suicide. Um, and it's just it seems just an elephant in the room that no one talks about. And it's obviously it's a problem in society if that's the statistics. Um, it's sad, honestly. I don't know. I was gonna, just to let you know, if I'm jumping all over the place, I did not plan out this podcast. I was going to, and then I was like, I'm just gonna free flow it. I just want to speak from the heart. I want it to be super real and authentic. So this is for the homies. That's why I'm recording this. It's for the homies. I feel like a lot of people in society, and it doesn't even need to be specifically women. It's just society in general. Just when it comes to men's mental health, it's we're almost told how we should feel. It's well, oh, you should just speak up and talk about your emotions and feelings, they're valid. And it's I don't think people realize men don't want to get in a circle and just talk about their emotions and feelings. I don't know. That's just not something. I don't just hit up my homies and we're like, hey, let's just talk about our feelings and emotions. It's men are much different than women. We're logical thinkers. We don't really go through life with our feelings guiding our lives, and that's just there's just innate differences, and that's not due to society. That's just innate differences due to biology. Honestly, we are just kind of programmed to be this way. And I was thinking this month. I'm like, what would help with men's mental health? Honestly, it's not shouting from the rooftops, talking about it. That's gonna help men's mental health. I don't expect any guy that listens to this to start just posting about it. That's not the solution. It's the solution is not for all men to post about men's mental health. That's not it. as a man, like you got brothers, whether they're biological or your homies, like those are your brothers. You have men in your life. It could be a stepbrother, um, a father-in-law, your father, your kid, your nephew. Like just reaching out to your fellow brother to see how they are is what makes an impact. What makes an impact? It's showing up for them and saying like, so that they can see that you're there for them, like that you actually care. And I think like a lot of men feel alone. I think they feel alone because it sometimes can feel like no one cares about you as a man because no one's checking up to see how you're doing. And it's like what can change that is just reaching out to a homie once in a while, whether it's in person, text, or you're playing video games together. Just ask them like how they're doing, like how you're really doing, man. Like what's been going on in your life, like be real. Like it doesn't have to be like a heavy thing. Like it 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 means a lot, even if there isn't something that they want to discuss. Just knowing that your homie is there for you is like it's powerful. It feels good. If you're depressed, you're not happy with your life, not satisfied, you do have to take ownership of your own well-being. No one is going to come save you, and especially no woman. So like if you're not well mentally, like very depressed, you don't have a mission that you're working towards every day, you don't really have direction in your life, the last thing you need is a woman in your life. The last thing you need is a woman in your life, honestly. As a man, like you need to prioritize your mission, and your mission needs to be much higher than just having a girlfriend or a wife. You need a reason and a purpose to wake up each day. You need to build yourself into a man before you can call in a divine relationship with a woman. And that's the thing too. It's like shit can be lonely as a man, but like it's not a bad thing though. Like I've been single for a few years. Being lonely, like sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary. Trust me, like I love women. I would love to have a woman in my life right now, but it's like I'm selective, and I've been building a life for myself that I can be proud about. And I wake up every day. I know why I wake up. I love my life. I love what I'm creating, and I value the peace of my life. You know, a few years ago, I may have been in a similar spot to where you are. I've gone through depression. I've been in dark times. I've um, had problems with addiction. At some point, I just realized it's like, hey, you got to take responsibility for your actions. You got to take accountability for what you're doing, and realize that only you can pull yourself out of the freaking darkness, the depths of the darkness. And that looks different for everyone. Some people do really well with professional help, therapists, counselors. I've tried that personally, not for me, but I don't think men should be afraid of seeking out professional help. Medication can work. There's all sorts of different things. There's no one stop solution. There's no one magical pill that's going to fix your life. For myself, journaling has been a big thing. Um, Meditating very frequently, taking care of my body more, nourishing my body, feeding it better, with better things, reducing my social media consumption. A lot of these things have helped my mental health as a man quite a bit. And there's no miracle solution, one thing that's going to completely help. So, like, my advice is just to continually try things to help improve your well being. I know working out is a big thing. I personally haven't worked out a lot over the last few years, just dealing with a pretty severe ailment in my neck that's caused a lot of pain, but that's something I look forward to getting back into, working out. Like that's I know the gym for a lot of men is like their form of therapy. It's a great way to process your emotions and get rid of that dense energy. And you just feel a lot better when you're working out, honestly. Stressing your body. Holy shit. I think as a man, like it's really important to stress your body. So like I may not work out a lot. I do stretch and do a lot of mobility stuff, but I do cold showers every fucking morning for the last few years. Um, do steam rooms as well, and it's like I honestly fucking kind of hate it to an extent, but I know through that discomfort, it helps me so much. It helps me so much. You just gotta figure out what works for you. But like, I don't know. As a man, like, fuck being comfortable. Like, honestly, like, obviously, you need comfort to a degree. I'm not saying just stress yourself 24/7, but like, if you're like super comfortable with your life as a man, like, shit, that sucks. I don't know. Like, there's nothing. You gotta be pushed to like to great levels as a man to feel fulfilled. And I believe for myself when I was depressed or unfulfilled with my life, I was not pushing myself to grow and expand. I was just gaming lots and just not doing great things for my well being. And I thought that comfort was a great thing, but it's like that familiarity was not beneficial at all. Um, gotta push yourself as a man. And it is a balancing act. I understand. There's a lot of like expectations on men in society. Um, Expectations are high. Like, I feel like probably also there's a lot of things like there's a lot of pressure on men to perform, to provide a good life for your family. There's a lot of pressure, and it's like it can feel like you're not doing enough. I get that. I get that. I've been there where it can feel like you're just not doing enough, and no matter how much you do, you just feel like it's never enough. And that does stem from a state of lack, a scarcity mindset. If you never feel like you're doing enough, like it doesn't matter how many more things you do, you'll never feel like it's enough. So at some point, you do just have to take a step back and start appreciating what you're doing. Now, what you're doing might not be a lot, but like if you're pulling yourself out of the deep, dark depths of your mind, it's like you got to celebrate those little wins and appreciate what you're doing, recognize what you're doing. Tell yourself at the end of each day, I'm proud of what I did today. I'm proud I did this. Like, you gotta be your number one supporter, especially the man. Like, you gotta hype yourself up. You gotta like say stupid things like I'm him. I'm fucking him. Like, go fucking do it, dude. Like, you gotta fucking grow a pair. I don't know. I say that with love, but like I'm sure you fucking know what I mean. I've been thinking about this podcast this month, and there are topics I don't really want to discuss because they get somewhat political, and I'm not trying to get into that. But I will say, I'll bring up this: masculinity is not toxic. If you think it's toxic, you have some self reflection to do. Because if I said femininity is toxic, holy shit, I would be attacked like left, right, and center. But it's an accepted thing in society right now to say masculinity is toxic. All masculinity is toxic. Like, holy shit! Like, are you fucked? Like, like society wouldn't be functioning if we didn't have masculine men. Like, literally, what? As a man, I feel like there's a lot ever since we're kids, like young boys, to like to be strong, to not show your emotions. And to an extent, I can understand part of it because, like, there has been studies done, and like you can search this online to verify what I'm saying, but I've read about this that if a man cries in front of a woman that he is in relations with, like romantically, there statistically the woman will respect him less. And that's just biologically. That's not like a I don't think that's a societal thing. I'm pretty sure that's just a biological function of humans. So there is reason for why men need to be stronger, and it just dates back to the evolution of men and humanity. Like, men were the hunters. They provided for the village. They provided for their community, and they had to be strong. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all to be a strong man. I'm a man that I'm very comfortable with my emotions and talking about my feelings publicly, but I don't think that's something that all men should do. I don't think all men should be comfortable with that. It's taken me a lot to get to this point, but I'm an advocate for men and just mental health in general. I like advocating for others because someone needs to speak up, right? Can't just have everyone scrolling on TikTok if no one's speaking up. Like, as a man, like you do need to feel your emotions. You do need to feel your feelings fully. Like, you do. You don't want to bottle those up and like drown yourself in a 12 pack of beer every weekend, or avoid your emotions and just game for 15 hours. You do need to feel your emotions. Emotions always will pass. They're just energy and motion, emotions. Like, emotions come and go, no matter what emotion: happiness, anger, frustration, sadness, joy, whatever. They come and go. So it's like, you don't have to like view emotions as a bad thing. Like, you're a human. You're a fucking human. And as a man, you can just apply a bit of logic to your emotions. I feel my emotions fully. I feel the depths of my feelings. Now, at some point, like, let's say I'm feeling sad about a situation. Sadness is not a bad thing. It's a human emotion. It's good to feel that sadness fully. But at some point, it becomes irrational to continually sit in that sadness. So, yeah, you can use logic and be like, all right, I was sad. I felt it all. It's time to move on. And that right there is powerful. That's helped me a lot. I believe that I learned that from a cognitive behavioral therapy book, so CBT. So, yeah, it is a type of therapy, but it's a self-taught method I've learned for myself. And this is this. I talked about this earlier in the podcast. You need to figure out things that work for you. I don't expect you to listen to this podcast and resonate with everything, and as you shouldn't. There should things just take things that resonate, try out things, and that's really all I want to help provide for you is this new ideas that you haven't heard before, new perspectives. And I don't think I said this, but I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. I assume it's probably mainly just men listening to this podcast episode, and I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your presence on Earth, and I see you. I know you probably at times don't feel like you're seen, and it can be tough, but it's like, hey man, like, you fucking got this. I fucking believe in you. You should believe in yourself. Like, look in the mirror and tell yourself you fucking got this. You gotta speak positive words to yourself. You do. And at the start, you might not believe it, but oh man, it's a lot better to speak positive things to yourself than a bunch of negative crap. Like, I don't ever look in the mirror and be like, you're a loser, you're not gonna make it. Like, what? Like, like, what good is that gonna do? I gotta fucking hype myself up, be like, you got this, you're him. You're a man on a mission. You can fucking do this. And I'm going to fucking do this. I'm doing it right now. So like even that, it's like affirmations don't need to be all like happy go lucky, soppy, sappy, feely with all the emotions. Like like they can just be masculine. I feel like I haven't really seen that on the internet talked about too much. Been filming for like 24 minutes. I don't want to keep this podcast too long because I want to keep them a bit shorter. I don't know if there's anything I missed in this podcast episode. I think I addressed a lot of things. I think just like a recap a few things. It's like I want you to take away from this, like read like you have some close men in your life, your father, your brothers, your son, nephews, whoever it is. Like just reach out to them. Like when next time you're in person, like instead of just shooting the shit the whole time, at some point, like ask them some questions about their life. And it doesn't have to be like overly like heavy. Like you can just showing that you care or recognizing your fellow brother for the work they're putting in. That like recognition's a big thing. Honestly. We gotta be in this together as brothers. Like you do. Like just gotta have your fellow man. You gotta stick by them. Um, can't be against each other. Truly, you can't be against each other. I'm really happy I recorded this episode and didn't plan a single fucking thing. I hope you enjoyed it overall. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this is the month of men's mental health, but like kind of like fuck that shit. I don't really care about the specific months. I guess it's the reason to talk about it, but like you shouldn't forget about this throughout the year. Like it should be something that isn't forgotten about. I don't know. That's why I don't like these specific months because it's like after the month, it's like no one talks about it, and it's like what? It's not like it disappeared. Anyways, it's Father's Day while I'm recording this. Shout out to all the fucking amazing fathers in the world. I'm not a father. I'm a father to a awesome German Shepherd, but shout out to my dad. I love that man. He's been an absolute inspiration to me. And yeah, my dad's my hero, but I'll catch you guys next time, probably in a week or two. Take care. Peace. Stay abundant.